All right, good morning. My name is Russ Laggan. I am the host of Big Agent Meeting. It's 11 o'clock Eastern Time on Friday, January 24th. The month of January is almost gone already. Feels like it just started yesterday. I don't know. Did I miss something? It's been a week of Mondays for some of you guys too. Seems like 30 Mondays back to back. Keep going over and over and over. It's been one of those months, but 2025, the good news about 2025 is, holy smokes, do we have some movement in the market right now? We've got a bunch of big teams we've been working on. We've got some amazing announcements that happened this week, which I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Check it out. There's some really cool stuff that happened this week. Big announcements, big teams joining EXP. People are still looking at us and saying, I want to be there. And some of the big ones are looking at the numbers and the math, like business people are saying, I really want to be there. So cool part is we've got some really great people added to our company this week. And of course, if you guys didn't see that and some of the announcements at NASDAQ, go back in, check that out in Workplace. There's great stuff on that coming through and coming down the pike. All right, so today we've got a great show lined up for you. I'm going to start off with a market minute today, and then we're going to kick over to Ian Wheatley. He's going to do a little bit about KGCI Radio. He's got an announcement for KGCI Radio. And then, of course, we've got the one and only Holly Mabery. She's got her brokerage update of what's going on in the brokerage right now. She always brings cool stuff to us. And then, of course, we're going to kick it over to Brian Ellington. So with that, let's start off with some market minute, okay? Always like to start off with some kind of statistic you guys can put into your business. And the one thing I was looking through for 2024 statistics, which are just starting to come out, I noticed that when I was scrolling through, if you look at the age groups, the different age groups in the market over the last year, in the 25 to 33 age group, 75% of them were first-time homebuyers. That's a pretty big number and pretty much expected. But the fun part is when you look at that in the 25 to 33, that means 25% of them weren't first-time homebuyers. Pretty cool information to know. When you get to 34 to 43, 44% of them were first-time homebuyers, dropping off substantially. Good, because we want people to get into homes. It helps them build wealth. And then, of course, when you get to 44 to 58, only 24% of them were first-time home buyers. So the great part is if you're looking for first-time home buyer stuff, you want to look in that lower age brackets because that's where the majority of them are hanging out. And, of course, if you want the average, I'm sorry, let back up, median. Median means halfway up and halfway down. In between the center of what the first-time home buyers were, the median age of first-time home buyers is 38. Guys, that is a lot higher than normal. It just keeps creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And the interesting thing is in these lower age groups, 20+% of that is single females buying houses. So just want to make sure you guys know what's out in the market and who you're targeting after. If you're going after the TikTok generation, 38 is not really a TikTok generation, right? That's the younger generation. So consider where your customers are and then start finding them in the places they're more likely to be. All right, so there you go. There's our market minute for now. So right now, I'm going to kick it over to Ian Wheatley. If you haven't met him, he is the manager of the radio station KGCI Radio. So take it away, Ian. What do you got next?
Hey there. Yeah, thanks for checking in with us during the Big Agent Meeting on KGCI Real Estate on Air. Friday is my favorite day of the week because not only do you get the Big Agent Meeting, but you get the KGCI Real Estate on Air Friday Focus. Immediately following the Big Agent Meeting, we are all about the scripts that convert and mastering the art of real estate conversations. Our hosts will be sharing the proven techniques to help you build trust, overcome objections, and close more deals. Looking ahead to next week, our Friday Focus is all about the best marketing tools for real estate agents in 2025. Get ready to stay ahead of the curve with the tools that will help you dominate your market this year. And don't forget, if you can't tune in live, it's okay. All that Friday Focus content and everything else that we air each weekday is available on demand. It brings you to a library of more than 1,500 podcasts. And KGCI Real Estate on Air is your go-to resource for real estate success with all those podcasts on demand on any topic that your heart desires. Subscribe now and take your business to the next level. Just search KGCI wherever you listen to podcasts or download the KGCI app today for iPhone and Android. Let's build success together with KGCI Real Estate on Air.
All right, there you go. Ian Wheatley with KGCI Updates. If you guys haven't logged in there, jump in there. There's always something good going on. I've found that I've been plugging that in, and when I'm taking my walk in the daytime, in the evening time after work, I'm taking my long walk like I'm supposed to, trying to stay healthy, and I pop that thing in and always get something good going in my head while we're going and learn something while I'm taking a walk. All right, so next up, we have the one and only Holly Mabery. She's going to be talking about brokerage operation updates. What's going on? So Holly, take it away. What's going on with brokerage ops these days?
Thanks, Russ. I am so excited to be here with you all. And I wanted to jump right into it because I know there's been a lot of conversation around what's going on and how do we best prepare and protect our clients. So One of the biggest hot topics I'm seeing right now is right around the subject of homeowners insurance. Obviously, we've seen horrific disasters from the hurricanes in Florida to the floods and hurricane in North Carolina, and now the wildfires raging across Southern California. There's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you today. See, when you and I are representing a client, it's really important that we take a look at homeowners insurance with them during the inspection or due diligence period. What's so critical about this is every property is going to be different. And what I want you to know more than anything is the location could impact, the property type, the age of the property, amenities, but also price point is starting to impact. I actually work with an insurance agent here locally, and he works with high-end luxury. And he's telling me, Holly, I'm having a hard time. Anything that is hand-done logs, like log cabins, he goes, I can't get insurance on it. And if I do, it's out of sight because the replacement value is so much. So this is what you and I need to be proactive on. Also, does it have something as simple as a pool or being waterfront? Those types of things are making a huge difference as we go into our new normal. It's very important that you and I understand as practitioners what climate change and kind of our new ecosystem of buying and selling homes looks like. So as we go forward, it's really important. Let's talk about location, what to know. I live more rurally. So for me, I'm very mindful. How close is the fire hydrant? And if not a fire hydrant, how close is the fire department? That can impact whether or not you can get homeowners insurance. Additionally, defensible space. Anybody who is working in and around the forest, especially in the West, looking at you, Colorado, Arizona, we just got new requirements from our real estate commissioner to actually have classes on defensible space and being fire wise. What does that mean to you and I? Well, when you and I walk up to a property, are there trees abutting the house? Are they leaning on the house? Is a deck built around a huge pine tree? If so, we may have challenges with insurance. The other thing I always recommend is pull flood insurance or pull flood zone. Now, the flood zone maps you typically can get from the county, you can get from FEMA. Sometimes your MLS may have an integration. What's important about this is that disclosure as a listing agent, I want you pulling up front, because your seller may not be in flood zone or may not have flood insurance. But what we're seeing right now, and I just had this happen with a current client, their flood map was just updated. So as a result, the bottom part of their property is now in flood zone. And guess what? That's where the chicken coop is. I know this is crazy. I'm talking about chicken coops on a Friday morning, but check this out. The chicken coop being in flood zone, now they have to have flood insurance and the price just went up. What's important to know about all of this is how you and I communicate early and upfront in our disclosures, making clients aware around location, asking these better questions. Are they in flood zone? What does it look like? Now, pro tip when it comes to flood insurance. If you have a client that's looking to improve the property, maybe they're going to add on, totally remodel, things of that nature. Well, there are certain limits on what they can do. If the property is improved more than 50% of the value, this is what gets crazy. It may have to be raised to be above flood zone. So that could be taking a house that's ground level and putting it on stilts. And that cost gets super exorbitant. What I want you to think about as you're educating your clients, what is it they want to do? What is their lifestyle? How do they want to live? Being close to a waterfront property or on the water, riverfront, it's awesome. It's also expensive. So how do we take care of them the best as you go forward? Insurance coverage, definitely. I love a good contingency. That contingency during the inspection period or due diligence is critical. Inspect what you expect always and get those quotes in writing. In fact, I always advocate for my buyers to make sure that they're asking their insurance company, did you pull a claims history? Were there additional claims previously? Mold, fire, water damage, anything like that I would like to know, because that will make a difference on what my cost for insurance will be in the future. Always get those quotes in writing. Don't wait until days before close, because it could make a difference between closing escrow and having to go find a different property. Now, I wanted to give you an update on this program called the FAIR Plan. FAIR is actually a program by the government that takes people out of the traditional private marketplace, and it can possibly help people get insurance in areas where they can't get insurance or the cost is really, really high. Now, this is what I'll say. When it comes to flood and wildfire, we're going to see some substantial changes as we continue through 2012 or 2025. As a result, the FAIR Plan, while available, may still be expensive. When you're working with a homeowner who has lived in their house for 30, 40, 50 years, and they're going, it's going to cost me $2,000 for flood insurance, I can't afford that. It becomes one of those things. Going uninsured could make the difference on whether or not their house is rebuilt. So having those conversations up front makes a huge difference. This is a program that's available. If you call any local insurance agent, they can help kind of guide you. Also, you can Google it. I was doing different information, just kind of seeking it out. What should I know? Where could I direct people? How would I go forward? And then finally, the National Association of Realtors is continuing to put out more consumer guides at facts.realtor. What I appreciate about these is they're just a high level, like scratch the surface for consumers. These are things that you can hand out to consumers. They're in English and in Spanish, almost like FAQs. Now, to help kind of add to these things for you as you're working with your clients, we're going to continue to be adding to our EXP resource and toolkits in both the buyer and the seller. We just did one edition on appraisals. We're really excited to help you stay current and on time with what's going on in the market. But these I wanted you to have right now. With watching what has happened in North Carolina and especially California now, we've got lots of folks asking really good questions. And I know it's been dry in my area. We're going, I don't even know how many months now without rain. I'm looking at this summer, my family's wildland firefighters, and I've got that top of mind. So from me to you, please be using these resources as you're having conversations with your clients. It makes a difference because we're their advocates. They don't know what they don't know. And the best thing you and I can do is always advocate and ask better questions for our clients to put them in the know. And finally, I just want to invite you, if you haven't already, our Extend a Hand group is doing phenomenal work. They helped out so many folks that were impacted through the hurricanes and floods this past fall. And now we're being tasked with helping and providing resources for the folks being faced by wildfires and losing everything in Southern California. So if you have an extra $5, $10, $15, $20, man, we sure could use your help. So with that, Russ, back to you. Little tips on all things insurance. Thanks, Russ.
All right. Thanks a bunch, Holly. Always appreciate the information that you bring to us, keeping us up to speed on what's going on in the brokerage, all the new stuff. And of course, you always throw in some good stuff to make it feel good too. So I love the way you do that every single week. So thank you for doing that. And of course, now we're coming into the fun part of the show here where you guys are going to get a lot more meat on the bone. And I'm going to kick it over to Brian Ellington. He's got an interview coming up with Cole Watkins. If you guys don't know Cole Watkins, you're going to want to see this interview. This is going to be a good 25, 30 minutes that you guys are going to want to put in your business, help you put more sales on the board. All right. There you go. Take it away, Brian Ellington.
All right. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. Hey, you know what? I was thinking about this conversation this morning, and a great quote came to mind, F.M. Alexander, who said, people do not decide their futures. They decide their habits, and their habits decide their futures. So my question for you all is, what habits are you trying to create for yourself in 2025 in your real estate business? What new habits? Hopefully one of those habits is going to be feeding your brain more. And with that, we can help. In fact, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up for you next week alone. So let's break it down. First, we got Christina Coco coming on Monday doing Level Up. There she is. Find the right leads using your brains. Are you working with the kind of people that you want to be working with? Well, come see Christina and let her help you with that. On Tuesday, my friend Renee Rodriguez is continuing Amplify EXP. Now, this is his Amplify program that he normally does out in the world for $197. He cut it in half for EXP, $97, and then he added 2 additional sessions each month for you all. We do those every Tuesday. You can go on expelevatecoaching.com and look into that as well. While you're there, check out Brendan Brittingham, who's Expand Investing. We're really excited. We've set our first in-person investing mastermind date, February 26th in Dallas. And again, you can find that on Elevate Coaching, expelevatecoaching.com. Also next week, we have some amazing programs for you in the form of EXP Executive Masterclass. Our very own Nadia Habib is going to be doing a fantastic masterclass. She's going to be talking about maximizing your production with proven strategies to increase your efficiency so that you can scale your business to have the life that you want, mastering work-life balance and taking control of your finances. It's going to be a great session called The Power Play, Master Your Business, Balance, and Breakthroughs. Then on Friday, we're dropping The Lab. I had a great conversation. Are you a sponsor or do you want to be a sponsor? Krista Pacheco came on and just laid it down in terms of onboarding, what her team has now been doing in terms of smoothing the onboarding process to make it faster and easier for agents to join EXP. And she even shares some brilliant insights with you about what you can do as a sponsor or team leader or what have you to help your person onboard even easier. So it's great lab. Do check that out. That will help you in your attraction game, no doubt. Then also next Friday, we have the One EXP Awards, and that's going to be fantastic. Whether your specialties in life are MilNet, the military network, or specializing in demographics like Latino, the Black, the Asian demographics in your communities, we have fantastic resource groups for you, BEN, EXP Latino, and more. All of them are going to be coming on to BAM next Friday, to talk to you about what they do, how you can get involved, and to celebrate all the wins we've had over the past year with all of those various groups. That's going to be a really great show. Please do check that out. But today, our friend Cole Watkins is joining us. Cole runs a great team out of Houston. I had a fantastic conversation that we shot a few weeks ago, and so I wanted to share with you about that. Cole's going to be talking about everything from sphere of influence, lead generation, to running a successful team. So please enjoy. I'm super excited about this interview. I'm joined by Cole Watkins of the Bridge Group in Houston, Texas, and we're going to talk all things sphere of influence, database, and also negotiating with our sellers. This is going to be a fun conversation. And Cole, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So first off, tell us a little bit about the team there in Houston.
Yeah, so we're a 5-year-old. We're a 5-year-old running around selling real estate. No, we're 5.5 years old. We started our team in 2019, and it was me and my wife. We branched out from a team, and that's kind of where we got our start. And we had 4 agents that started with us, and today, 5.5 years later, we have about 45 agents on our team. The last couple of years we've been right there, with everything that's been going on in the 82 to 87 million volume. This year we are hoping to hit 100 million in volume. Really, I think that's my position on the team is starting to kind of back out of production and way more into the recruiting, coaching, training, mentoring, and the training systems for our agents. So I think that's kind of what we're known for in the Houston area is our training. We have something called Launchpad that we do, which is really for our agents. It's our onboarding, it's our agent training. We do it 4 times a year, but we also invite any and everyone, no matter your brokerage, no matter your team or affiliation. So we're starting that again in October 21st, and it's already filling up. So that's just a little bit about us and what we focus on.
I love hearing that. And I've coached teams before on this very topic. Working with brokerages or teams, you often hear them say things like, I'm selective, which I take as code for I don't like recruiting.
Yeah.
Right? And I get that 100%, but I always differentiate between selecting and selective, right? Selective is, I think, a little bit of a misnomer. Selecting is a process. And what you just described is that you're out there looking for people who are willing to go through your, I think you called it Launchpad process. And Are you using that sort of as a show and prove kind of litmus test of whether or not they're going to be successful on your team?
Yeah, definitely. And I use it as a big recruiting tool. So obviously we want to offer value to everyone in our space. But at the same time, we absolutely use it to recruit to our team. I was able to coach with John Cheplack last year and talk about recruiting. That he tells you all the time, you can recruit yourself. Yeah, you can recruit yourself out of any problem, and it's true. We went from about 22 to 45, within a year's time, and it's absolutely true. But I think a lot of people that are looking to be team leads, they don't get that, and they don't understand that now their job is to switch out buyer seller with real estate agent. So instead of prospecting for buyers and sellers as much, you need to be prospecting for realtors that you can help grow and add value to their business.
What I've seen of the statistics in the industry of new agents solo versus new agents who join a team, night and day. I mean, really not even a comparison. The level of productivity of a newer agent who joins a team versus goes it on their own, because a lot of people just have no real clue what it means to be a real estate agent when they get their license. And so, by the way, newer agents who are watching this, if you're finding yourself in the boat of wondering, do I want to keep going this alone, or do I want to maybe go talk to my old boss and get my job back? I'd really recommend reaching out to Susan McLean with EXP, who is actually working on a program where we can help facilitate finding great teams who are looking for talented agents that would be a fit for you, and do make sure that you have that conversation with her, because there are fantastic teams like Kohl's that can really help you kind of cut your teeth, get into the business, learn the ropes, and whether or not you stay on a team or you decide once you've got your wings spread that you're ready to go on your own, that's fine, because folks like Cole understand that, recruiting is a game plan that is an essential for a team to survive and thrive. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about how you're feeding that massive volume that you're doing. So I'm curious, are you like a Zillow kind of person, or how are you generating your leads to feed that many 45 agents on your team?
Yeah, so there's that old proverb. It says, "Give a man a fish, right? He'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime." And I was on a team. I came from a team myself, and I just taught myself how to fish. And I was in an open house the first 2 years of my real estate career. I was in an open house Saturday, Sunday, every single weekend for 2 years. It didn't matter if it was a Super Bowl, my birthday, nothing. I was always in an open house, and that's how I was getting a lot of my business. I always say to pick 3 different pillars of lead generation. And at that time, my pillars of lead generation were open houses, circle prospecting, and then working my database. And so you have to fill that database to work it, right? And so I was constantly circle prospecting. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we start talking about listings. And I got so much business from leveraging the listing, and it wasn't even my listing. It was my team's listing, but no one else was doing it. So I did that. And now I've taught our agents how to do that. And then they're doing things that I've never done, and they're teaching each other how to do that on this team, which I think EXP is really, the culture of EXP is the culture of the Bridge Group and collaboration. And so there's no secrets here. And you just see all the agents after a team meeting getting together and working on different things. Some of them are getting 7 to 9 deals a year on YouTube. Others, and that's just YouTube alone, right? Like others are doing reverse prospecting with buyers and writing handwritten letters and getting like lots of listings, leveraging their buyers, kind of crazy stuff. But that was what kicked me off in the very beginning. And that's what we teach our agents. And we have 18 lead generation activities. It's a PDF. If you want that, I can send it to you and you can put it on this, but it's free to give to anyone. But, we really do teach our agents how to prospect. Now, as I said before, we just got into the online lead deal. We're not a Zillow Flex team. We've never really done that. And the reason we didn't is because I never did it. And so I wasn't very comfortable doing it or teaching it. Right now, we're starting to invest in that and seeing it pay for itself and much more. And then, another kind of area that a lot of big teams go in to try to generate a lot of leads for all their agents is builder business, which I don't know. I'm just sore from COVID, and I hold grudges. And so I just don't want to work with builders because at any drop of the hat, they can say, nope, we're not doing that anymore, just like Zillow. So that's really not my game. It's a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends, they do that. They do it well, but we kind of stick to the basics and just execute that over and over and over again and chase mastery in it.
Well, what's interesting is I've seen this time and time again with real estate agents is that they fall in love with one particular lead gen source. And then all of a sudden that goes away, whether it be a builder, whether it be falling in love with SEO on search engines, and then Google changes their algorithm. I've seen this happen time and time again to friends of mine.
Right.
And then they're forced to start all over again. And what that lesson often teaches them is a lesson that we all should learn from the beginning, which is to have the multiple streams of lead gen, like you said. The whole entire goal of this business, if you're going to be in it for the long term, and I hope everybody here is to build your database. And you do that through a multitude of different lead generation sources. In the beginning, you're going to use those lead generation sources to look for both immediate business and future business. Put all the future business into your database, put all the immediate business into your database, but work the immediate business with a cultivation and conversion strategy, work the future business with the conversion strategy. But let me talk to you about your database, your sphere of influence. So you said you started working that early on, which congratulations, because a lot of agents don't, right? They wait until much longer. What was that like in the beginning for you? Who was your database and how did you grow it?
So I will say this, like I hired a coach a long time ago. I had team leads, but the team leads weren't necessarily mentors or coaches. They were they were team leads, right? Like the majority of team leads out there. But I hired someone with Tom Ferry, and my first coach with Tom Ferry was always talking to me about, number one, prospecting is a queen bee of your business. If there's a day that you're not prospecting, your business is taking a step backwards. Number two, follow-up has to be relentless. And number three, your database, that's the big secret. That's the secret of every top producer, is that they are working in and on their database consistently. And so they know where things are. They have something called client care. So in our database, we have kind of our hot, warm, and cold leads. And I think that's a lot of what people just kind of think about. But then we have client care, which is home anniversaries, right? Birthdays. It is outreach. It is quarterly outreach. It is client appreciation. It is all of these different segments of your past clients that you have to, if you're saying that your business is about relationship, it needs to be about relationship. You need to reach out to them. We have 3 or 4 client appreciation parties a year. And so it gives us the excuse to go through our database and see who have I recently sold a home to that I need to put into that category, and call all of my clients 3 to 4 times a year just to check in and invite them to a party. So there's so much that goes into it, but exactly what you said, the reason why you want to have one is to go back and get referral and repeat business from. And some of my agents right now, they've only been doing this for 4 or 5 years, and they're doing multiple 6 figures on a team year over year because they're farming that database. And they really are seeing about 5, 7, some of them 10% return from their database every year. So it's a great piece of their business.
It's interesting. I think a lot of people think of client parties as the reason to have a client party. From what I'm hearing, you, like many top agents, you don't really necessarily care if they show up to your client party. Right. It is literally a reason to reach out to these folks.
That is yeah. So my coach, going back to them, he said, I want you to call your client database 4 times a year and ask for business. And I said, I just can't, like other people can, I cannot like bring myself to just calling people and saying, hey, it's me again, I'm asking for something. But I wanted to make it a party that we could invite our clients to. And that way it's easier for our agents to all opt into doing that. And look, like we have thousands of past clients, and we might have 250 to 325 show up at our parties, which is great. It's fantastic, but we invited so many more, and so many people that didn't come said, hey, wait a second. While you're on the phone with me, I just remembered my boss, they're being relocated and they need to sell their house. And then we say, hey, great, put us on a joint text, introduce us, and we'll set it up. We get so much business from that every single quarter. And it's just it's a great way to continue to build that database.
I'm curious, do you have a script that you follow or a loose dialogue that you follow to ask for that?
Not
referral?
for that. No, not for that. Because it's just, when we do have like Whiteboard Wednesdays where we do all of our role playing and we go through our scripts and things like that. But for that, I'm just like, hey, if I'm giving you a script on how to interact with someone that you already have a relationship with, good grief. Like we're in trouble, right? Just call them and invite them to a party, right? That's really what it is.
So you're not necessarily asking for the referral in that particular conversation.
Nope. We call them. We say, hey, it's Cole. How are you doing? I saw it was your son's birthday the other day. Happy birthday to him. Wow, he's getting big. It's getting so big since we last saw each other. Hey, it's that time of year for our crawfish boil. We same place, same time. I'm going to send you the invite. Just wanted to give you a call and give you a heads up. That's where it's going to be and when it's going to be. How are things going? Right? You throw the ball in their court and they start talking, and then eventually it's going to be hey, like I just remembered, my boss is getting relocated. My brother's moving into town, this, that, and the other. So I don't ask for it. I really don't. But they always tend to bring it up, and it's based off of reciprocity, right? I'm giving you an opportunity to come have some crawfish, have some beer, watch a movie, whatever it is, wine tasting. And they feel like, hey, you guys did a fantastic job. Obviously, I saw your name on the phone and wanted to pick up and see what was going on. Yeah, thanks for inviting me. I'm not going to be able to make it, but I feel like I need to contribute something. So, yeah, it's awesome.
That's great. And yeah, the law of reciprocity of life is a very powerful tool for you, and offering great value just automatically makes them want to do that themselves. Speaking of value, when you talk about your sphere, so obviously those client parties are a big part of a value prop that you bring to the people who work with you. Any other big pieces of value that you're contributing to your database on an ongoing basis?
So I'm a huge fan, and going back again to my coaching early on, his name was Coach Rod Moser, and still a friend and a great coach. But Rod Moser said, hey, I keep talking to you about sending out your database video. This is our third week coaching together, and every week you keep bringing up an excuse on why you haven't sent out a database video to everyone in your database. Now, by that time, I had already had about 3 years of full-time real estate under my belt. And so that was about 80, 90 people that were in my past client database that I could have been speaking to every single week, right? And so he knew the importance of that. I did not. And he threatened to fire me on week 4 if he did not see a database video go out.
Good coach.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I've not missed a week of database video since that time. And I haven't. Yeah.
Coached you well, friend.
Yeah. Laid up with COVID and everything else. I'm like, this video is going out. So no, I think that a video database or a database video once a week to everyone keeps you top of mind. And I think, for lack of better words, killing 2 birds with 1 stone and using that video for your social media platform, your business page, your team page, whatever it is. And, taking that and saying, all right, instead of just my database video, I'm going to use this for all content across the board, has really helped us stay top of mind with that. Now, again, like database video, the client appreciation party, pop buys for my personal clients. Over the years, pop buys are a huge thing quarterly. So I'm kind of alternating, if I'm doing a Halloween pop buy for my clients, I'm doing a November client appreciation party. And we really do, the Bridge Group is a sticky group, right? Once you do business with us, there's a good likelihood that we shut that back door and we have great retention on all of our past clients because of how much we engage with them. We also use our database to send a monthly mailer, kind of talking about client care here, but a monthly mailer. I don't do geo farming. I've never been a fan of it just because I'm impatient. But I will send a monthly mailer to all of my past clients that already know, like, and trust me. So maybe that card sits on the counter a little bit longer than it would a stranger before it goes into the trash. But at the same time, they're getting something from me every single month. But that all of that is using our database. Now my database is full of agents and agents that I need to follow up with and reach out to. While I was waiting on the call, I was sending out texts to agents that are in my database that I need to follow up with.
That's great. Now, you mentioned about geofarming. You said you don't do that. You mean mailers, but you do circle prospecting. Are you doing that in a geofarm, or is that just wherever you take a listing? How do you do your circle prospecting?
Yeah. So I guess in my head, I always think about geofarming as someone grabbing or adopting a neighborhood, right, or a zip code or however much they want to spend, and sending mailers once, twice a month to that community. I've done that. I did it and it hurt every month. I did it 11 months, didn't quite make it to a year, and I got nothing from it. We did crazy stuff. Like, we did scratch off stuff. We did all kinds of stuff, and we barely got any engagement, not one listing from it. And I was like, this is not good for me. I know so many people that it has worked very well for, but I'm over it. But yes, we do. If we have a listing, I teach my agents how to get at least 2 more pieces of business off of each listing. Now we're going to go heavily into open houses and making sure that we're doing a fantastic open house. I think just because if you schedule an open house on the MLS and your physical body is in the open house, greeting people, shaking hands, that does not mean that you're doing it right. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, right? It's not a participation deal. You can waste a lot of time in open houses. And we've had agents come in and they're like, man, I'm doing open houses the last 6 months and I get nothing. They come to our team and we teach them how to do an open house. They get 6 leads that they're following up with, listing appointments, listings, and so forth from the actual open house. So there's definitely a right and wrong way to do that. Open houses are number one. Circle prospecting for that listing is an opportunity. The Bridge Group, we have over 50 listings right now, and those agents on our team, I'm not doing the circle prospecting for all those, and neither are the agents on the team. Some of these guys are selling 20 million this year. Like, they're not circle prospecting every listing that they have. So it's an opportunity for our newer agents to come onto the team. We already have Canva templates, so all they do is drag and drop their information in it, the pictures, everything else, and then they print those off, walk around to 50 to 75 homes in and around that subject property listing. And it could be just listed, under contract, or just sold. And we get, the more you do it, the more consistent you are with it. Think about if one of those neighbors sees you doing that the 3rd time on just sold and says, good grief, like, I saw you on the just listed, the under contract, and the just sold. Talk to me. How did it go? You know, and so that's how we get business. And then we document. Our social media is very documentary style, to where we are essentially documenting everything we're doing with that listing. So pictures, right? Picture prep, the open house, we're under contract, we're just sold. So we're documenting that. And that is, even if it's not your listing, most people won't know that online. And so they're just seeing you in the field. And every single time you're making a post about what you're doing in the field, it is depositing something in the trust account of your audience. And they're saying, man, like, Cole is killing it. Taylor is killing it. Taylor hadn't sold a home, but they say, like, Taylor's killing it. I trust Taylor. When it's time for me to buy or sell, or my brother or sister or mom or whoever, I'm pointing them in Taylor's direction. So we have seen that work with a lot of success with our newer agents as well.
Yeah. And speaking of that, newer agents out there, there's a lot of self-talk that is going on in your head, a lot of head trash saying, oh, that listing agent isn't going to let me sit there open. Or that listing agent isn't going to let me market their property on social media. That is absolutely not the case. As Cole just described, there are plenty of agents who are just killing it with production. Maybe open houses isn't their thing, but their sellers still have expectations around that. And to be able to service their sellers well, to be able to offer an open house to a seller who wants that through you, is a great value proposition to them, and a great way for you to generate business if you're pairing it with the circle prospecting like Cole is talking about. So I want to ask you, Cole, because we are in a new era with what happened in August, converting over with the NAR decision. Are you seeing much difference with your sellers when you're consulting them? I don't want to get into talking about amounts of commissions and things like that, but when it comes to talking to them about buyer compensation, buyer concessions, are you seeing a difference of sellers thinking now? And if so, how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, Robert Greene, I think he wrote several books, but I think one of them, the very well-known 48 Laws of Power, it was either that or war, but he said the best strategy is having the most options. And I agree with that. I think I need some options here. I need to pick from something. Our staff is they have pages and sheets of options for me to pick from. I'll just circle and hand it back to them, and there you go. But what we did for both our buyers and sellers, we do have a killer listing presentation. It converts over 90% of our appointments convert. And so it's killer. It answers. An engineer will sit there and have a list of all of his questions, right, for us. By the end of our presentation, they're all answered, right? He never even took a minute to ask us. So we did that for our sellers. We did that for our buyers as well. That was something we didn't have. Then we did it for our buyers to make it a little easier for our agents to have that scripting in front of them. Now, one of those slides on our listing presentation goes through the many options that are now, up to them. And so I frame things very well. And so I've taught our agents how to frame this when we get to that slide. So, right, what has changed? That slide says what has changed after August 17th. And we talk about what changed as far as buyers, but really what's going to affect them as a seller. We address the myth of you no longer have to pay a buyer's agent. That's not true. You never did. That was always true. It was always negotiable. But what I do tell them is here's kind of the simple options, right? We can offer 3% to the buyer agent or a percentage right off the bat to the buyer agent. Hey, look, this is it. We're going to put this out there. We're going to be able to advertise this. And that way, no one's worried, right? We're going to be advertising to the biggest audience. Okay. The other thing is we could say we're not offering any buyer agent compensation. It's going to be up to you to negotiate that with your buyer. And now we have the smallest audience. Okay. Or we could go to the third one saying, I am offering a buyer agent compensation, but it's not specified just yet. We are willing to work with the buyer agent on their compensation, but let's negotiate this. Put it in your offer. And so when we do that, we kind of talk to them about the success rate, how big of an audience, how many eyeballs are going to be on this property, how many showing opportunities are going to be there with more buyer agents on board. So that's how we do it. I think a lot of times we overthink this whole NAR thing way too much. We have not seen, actually, we saw a massive blow up in our business with both buyers and sellers right after August 17th. And I think our August and our September outpaced our June and July. So yeah, we're not overthinking it. We're not making it too complicated. And we try to simplify it as much as possible and address some of the falsehoods and the myths that our sellers might have heard or talked about at work with someone that isn't in it every day.
Yeah, I think well said. A few things there about what you said is, first is, if you're not familiar with the options that Cole is outlining, go look at the new eXp University Winning Clients training program. And what we've done is taken the great trainings that Leo and Holly and Kendall have done and merged that together with what our marketing team has created for you in terms of buyer consultation and listing presentation materials, and really kind of laid that all out. But because eXp led the way with our listing agreement of providing those options in our listing agreement materials for the seller, you've got that all right there. And so having a slide or a page, whatever your style of listing presentation material is, having that content in there, it's all readily available to you. You don't even have to come up with the scripts on your own. That's all in Winning Clients from eXp University. The other thing that you said, which is so important, you know the questions, you know the objections, right? And if you don't, go ask your broker. They'll tell you because they've heard them all, right? And planning for that, being proactive in your presentation style is so key, because once they voice it as an objection, there's now a guard up, there's now a defense, right? If you can hit it before that even comes, you'll see the shoulders relax. You'll see them get more into the conversation with you. Well, Cole, no wonder you guys are doing such amazing business there in Houston. You guys are just crushing it. And thanks for coming on and sharing all your hard-won wisdom with us. We really appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Well, us too. All right. And we've enjoyed you guys as well. So back to you guys.
Alrighty, there you go. Brian Ellington, great interview. I love that. Cole Watkins, always bringing the good stuff. If you guys didn't put a couple things down on a piece of paper that you can start adding to your business, you probably should back that up, rewind that puppy, and start putting some of that stuff into your business. It will make your business a better business all the way across the board. So thank you guys so much for that valuable information. All right, next up today, we've got an interesting one, something I didn't even know that we had in EXP, which is part of the reason why we're doing a segment on EXP solutions. So you guys can know all of the great things that EXP has. So this solution this week is Sierra Interactive. It's a CRM, and Scott Selverian is going to have a conversation with a couple of agents talking about not only what they do, but how it works for them. Take it away, Scott.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Selverian. I'm the Director of Industry Relations here at Sierra Interactive and also an EXP agent. Sierra Interactive is really the operating system for your business. We're truly the only real estate platform that actually lets you differentiate your brand and personalize your lead nurture. So super excited to be with you here today. We've got a couple of fantastic clients with us to talk a little bit about how Sierra has changed and affected their businesses. Brian Birds, who runs a super efficient and effective team out of El Paso, Texas, and the Crawford Willis Group, who also runs an amazing team out of Alabama. So thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. Brian, let's start with you, man. In regards to, you've been a Sierra client for quite a long time, and I was wondering, what specific challenges were you facing and your team facing in your business before you implemented Sierra, and how did Sierra help with addressing those challenges?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge that came from me is the fact that I was paying a previous CRM that was not giving me the value that I felt the cost was costing me every single month. So it basically came down to Sierra met the expectation and they did it at a reasonable price. And I know sometimes price isn't always supposed to be our driving force, but when it comes down to CRMs, I started when CRMs were massively expensive, and Sierra came through with providing good customer service. They listened to their customers, and they were focused on real estate. So it met the criteria in every facet. The biggest hurdle that we've talked about before is the fact that it was getting my team's adoption and not having them all go on mutiny.
Awesome. So it sounds like you really were looking for value, and price happened to be a secondary factor that happened to fit the mold.
Correct. And it also came down to validation. It was nice that I saw you guys weren't promoting in a fashion where you're selling at the big conferences, but you were selling by the token that people were speaking well about you. So in our industry, when we get validation from other realtors, it gives us validation that says that makes sense and we should move forward.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks, man. Thanks for that. And Matt and Evan, passing it over to you. What are your thoughts? I mean, why did you bring Sierra into your business, and what challenges did we help solve for you?
Yeah, I mean, similar to that, we had some challenges with our last CRM system. Just userability, I think, for our agents was getting a little challenging, and it was a little fuzzy as far as strip campaigns and things like that. They started getting a little convoluted there. And then just userability on the back end, website changes, things like that was very tough. And it was kind of a waiting period on getting those things changed. And then, ultimately there was a pretty large collapse in that one that caused us to say, hey, we gotta make a move, because it was a couple weeks of being out of commission. So.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like you really had some pain with your last system, and we were able to get you back up and running. And I know you guys do a ton of stuff with the front end in regards to your YouTube videos and stuff like that. I love those videos. So it sounds like Sierra really helped you make those changes easier and manage that front end website as well.
Yeah, it gave us the ability to really use the stuff that we're doing. We're paying money for videos and things like that. So it gave us the ability to utilize those things.
That's great. That's great. Great to hear. So next question, and Brian, I'll flip back to you. What features or strategies did Sierra, within Sierra, do you find most effective for managing your business? And, if you were talking to another team leader at EXP, how would you guide them in regards to why Sierra can help them?
So I think it's coaching. The fact that you guys record the calls and then adapting those systems into new evolutions in the market to be able to coach my agents into good, effective calls. Listen, it hasn't changed in 100 years what we need to do. We need to connect with clients. Connecting with clients is via telephonic or in person. Well, if I can supervise or manage one of those resources by being able to jump in, coach through a call, listen to how a person was spoken to, also kind of dialogue with how do we improve here, how do we improve there. We've recently adapted in Shiloh that connects really well with Sierra, and the API really works well with other systems. So Shiloh now takes that to a extended level on that part.
That's awesome. And knowing how efficient and powerful your business is, it makes a lot of sense that you coach your agents at a very high level. So at Sierra, being able to support that is awesome.
Absolutely. And the API just adds that extra layer of, hey, listen, if I find a system that's working really well, then I have the ability to implement that system inside of my CRM, which is really powerful.
Awesome. So that flexibility in the open architecture, being able to leverage other systems. Great.
Absolutely.
Crawford, Willis, Evan, how about you guys?
Like Evan said earlier, the usability of it seems like it works just seamlessly and better. We like the single property website features that we didn't have on our previous CRM. As well, Evan and I were just talking before this, as well as the ponds. To be able to put, drop leads in there, and you have your most aggressive agents to be able to jump in that pond and grab those leads.
It kind of clears off their mind space too, of not just having those leads under them. It's like, hey, let's move these to the pond, and then if there's some action, we can make some action back, and not have it, cloud you up the whole time. And then back to what Brian said, just the support we've had. Shout out to Blair. She's awesome with Sierra. She's always ready for a call. She's always ready to move our business forward. Doing things that I'm not thinking of. She's like, hey, you could do this, and that's awesome to have somebody else there that is willing to invest in your business a little bit and say, hey, here's something you could do to make yourself better.
That's exciting, and thanks for that. And Blair being one of our customer success managers. Excuse me. And we do, obviously we are a product company, but we do very highly value the services that we provide our clients too. So it's great to hear that you guys are taking advantage of that, and that's affecting your business too. That's great. Thanks for that, everybody. And now let's flip it up a little bit. Crawford, Willis, next question for you. What's a specific example of a success story or a milestone that you guys achieved with Sierra Interactive that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, well, I would say this month's been a great month, and a lot of that, we've been with Sierra now for just over a year, and so a lot of that is coming from, I do believe, some of the capabilities we have with voicemail drops. That's been huge for us as far as farming neighborhoods. We've done that quite a few times and gotten some great feedback, and just overall, the amount of people we're able to touch through the CRM system with a lot of those capabilities like that, and lead routing action plans, some of those that we've been able to utilize with certain neighborhoods that we wanted to. We've really been able to focus in on those neighborhoods, and I think that's starting to pay off now, toward being in there for a year.
That's great. So it sounds like lead management, we made it easier for you there, and being able to really target focus your market to be able to go deep and be that local neighborhood expert that we really encourage our clients to be.
Correct.
Awesome. Brian, how about you? What success have you had specifically with Sierra that you're proud of?
I think that comes down to a new word or a new vocabulary that we've had to adapt to. I've been doing this for almost 21 years, and at the end of the day, the word tech stack was not something I was thinking about 20 years ago, right? But today, I think CRM has to be your foundation, and Sierra has been that for us. And with the new evolution, and we've kind of had this conversation as well, is that the new evolution of all these new products coming on the market, you have a lot of things going into adding this piece and that piece. So having that foundation that works well, that willing to listen, that's willing to hear, and willing to have that open architecture to say, hey, listen, we're not just trying to hold everything internally, but rather trying to open it up to everybody else. And to calculate the biggest win for me is honestly the fact that you guys are willing to adapt, right? And that is the biggest win, because that means that every month I'm seeing a beta feature come out that I'm fully anticipating, encouraging, pushing to my team, and encouraging to use it and figure out how do we make it better.
Awesome. That's great. Love to hear that success with you guys, with both your teams. I know you guys are running super powerful, successful teams, and we love being a part of it as really the core operating system of your business. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. If anybody's interested in Sierra Interactive, SierraInteractive.com is really the best place to go. Set up a demo. If you have any questions about the system, we're happy to help you there.
All right, so there you go, Sierra Interactives. Guys, take a look at that. Something else that you may want to put into your business. And the good part is EXP's got a deal already set up for you guys, so you can leverage that and take the best advantage of it for the best price and get that in your business too if you want it. So there you go. There's a show for today, January 24th. Super excited to see where February goes. Had an amazing week hanging out in New York City with Inman Connects all week. And then, hey, next week, we've got some really good stuff coming down the pike for you guys too. So before you guys go, you know how this goes. We're going to have the QR code up there. If you could pop that QR code and take a look at that, and then just give us a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 means we completely blew it and you want to light your computer on fire. Right? Hope that didn't happen today. And a 10 is we knocked it out of the park and did a great job for you. And Brad, if you added one thing into your business today, give us a good rating on that. And of course, throw in a note. Let us know how we did. Let us know if you want to see something different on week to week. Thank you. Always, our NPS scores are always in the high 80s, which has been fantastic for the last year and a half. So apparently we're doing something right. So thank you for your support in that. All right, that's our show for today. Stay tuned for iConversations coming up next.